and welcome to another edition of Nook News. I'm Beth Hadfield, the Activity Coordinator at the Center for Active Living. Today, I am joined by Acting Police Chief Dana Flynn. Welcome, Dana.
Thanks for having me, Beth. Great to see you.
Great to see you too. I thought we could talk a little bit about you and a little bit about the department, and then we'll end with a little more about you. Is that okay? Okay.
Sure. All right.
So, have you always been a Plymouth resident?
I have. Born and raised. I grew up in West Plymouth, not too far from West Pond. Spent a lot of my childhood fishing there on the pond and traipsing through the woods.
Got it.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Were you in the military prior to being a police officer?
Prior to joining the department, I was a member of the Merchant Marine, actually. I graduated from the Mass Maritime Academy in 1988. And part of the education there, I had an option to join the Naval Reserve. So when I graduated, I was commissioned as an ensign. And I served in the reserve for 8 years and finally was honorably discharged as a lieutenant.
Wow. So
in 1996.
When you went to Mass Maritime, did you have what was your major?
Marine engineering.
So is that working on boats, or
yes,
is
on
that
ships.
working with
container ships, oil tankers, you name it. I sailed all over the world. I carried cars, I carried containers, I carried fuel, I carried military equipment. During the first Gulf War, Desert Storm, Desert Shield, I carried military equipment.
Wow. That's amazing. Amazing.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a real interesting life. However, I got married right out of college, and it was really no life for a family to raise a family.
Right.
So after several years, I decided to come ashore.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's great. So you've always been a fisherman. You've always had your life on the water.
Right.
From what you've told me.
Yep.
Where did law enforcement come into all of this?
So when I first graduated high school, way back, I won't tell you when.
Okay.
I got a summer job working for the Harbor Master's office in Plymouth under Angelo Brigida way back when. And I did that for 14 years, 14 seasons over the summer between school. I'd come back and work for Angelo, then later Ralph Savory. And I kind of worked it into my shipping schedule as well. So that's where I kind of got bit by the law enforcement bug. But truth be told, I was supposed to be a fireman. Yeah, I was supposed to be a fireman. My dad was a firefighter in town.
Right.
I grew up with scanners in the house. He would wake me up at 2 a.m. to go chase a fire.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So I grew up with that as my part of my childhood. A big part of my childhood was the fire department.
Wow.
But my first taste of law enforcement was working for the Harbor Master's office.
Wow. Yeah. I didn't know any of that. Like some things I do know about you, and I'm like, wow, that's crazy. So your love for the water, because what exactly what did you do specifically for the Harbor Master?
I worked when I worked down there, I worked nights, so we would patrol the moorings, the harbor, and all the piers and wharfs during the nighttime. Just watch for, to inhibit theft. Any boats have issues overnight, start taking on water, we would address that. But we would technically the watchmen.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. So now you're chief and acting chief, and there are challenges that come with this job.
Sure are.
What do you feel might be your biggest challenge right now?
Right now, I would say the politics and what's going on in the country right now.
Okay.
Right. The anti-police sentiment. No, and I'm going to be brutally honest here. We haven't seen that here. We have a great community. We have a great relationship with the townspeople, the town leadership. However, what we see on the news definitely affects us. So it's just it's the times we're in. But we've been through tough times before. We'll get through this as well. But as I said, we have a great community. We have no issues here, but it does weigh on you.
And I'm sure it weighs on the other members of your team. And
Absolutely, absolutely.
And I'm sure you have to give that pep talk now and then to remember that we're here and not in another part of the country, so that we focus on, like you said, where we are, and we do have a really good community.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
it definitely has to be helpful.
Yep. And I try to tell them don't watch the news. Turn the news off. It won't do you any good.
So very funny you say that. I don't think I've watched the news in 2 years. I stopped. It's easier to not.
That's why you're always smiling.
You got it. You got it. How are things going in the department with you, where you were captain?
Yep.
And now I know, and now you're moving into the chief spot. Do you feel like the camaraderie and the teamwork is still right there with you?
Absolutely. I have a great department, or should I say we have a great department.
Yeah, we should.
The officers and staff, they're just tremendous. They've been more than supportive of me. They know that I'm new to the role, and it's just been great. Words of encouragement all the time.
Good.
From everybody. So it's just, I'm lucky to be here.
Good. That's really great. I would think that might be the most difficult part, is when you're a peer and then you're the supervisor. That it's a bigger step and sometimes hard to navigate.
Yeah, absolutely. But like I said, we have tremendous personnel here. Very lucky, very lucky.
Do you feel like, following Chief Botteri, the shoes are even bigger to fill? Like, he was such a prominent aspect of our community.
Absolutely.
So from your perspective, do you feel like it's harder, or he's paved the way really well for you?
No, he's definitely paved the way. My biggest concern, he was very supportive of me being appointed as the acting chief. So I mean, my biggest concern is letting him down, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So but I think he was such a man of the people, shall we say.
Yep.
So my goal is, once I get settled in here, finish feeling my way around, that I'll be out in the community more often than I am now. That's my goal.
But that always takes time. You have
Sure
to get comfortable in each area of what you have to do, because naturally, assuming being at the top, there's a lot more responsibilities. It's
Absolutely.
Not, you're responsible for everything, even if you don't control every piece of it.
Right. And that's why we have certain people in certain roles here that we can rely upon and know the job's getting done.
I agree. It's funny. I have always seen you as quiet, because we do Coffee with a Cop, which we're going to be resuming again, starting the first Friday of every month. And I always felt like you were a quieter soul taking it all in. So now, you know, I feel like things are different for you.
Right.
Am I right though? Are you a more observer, taking it all in before you respond and react to things?
I think you hit the nail right on the head. You know, it's kind of funny. When I was in school in my young years, the biggest complaint from my teachers to my parents was I was a class clown, believe it or not. So I know exactly what you're saying. And I do like to take it in now. Before, a little more reserved. But yeah, once we get to know each other, you know me now.
I do, and
So,
and I know we're comfortable talking with one another. But it's funny, when I've seen you before, I do my observing too. So I've
yeah,
seen the quiet side of you, and now I get to see the talkative side of you. And
yeah.
both sides are pretty great, I will say. I will
Well, thank
say.
you very much.
Um, I know that you see a lot of different things going on with seniors in our community.
Hmm.
So at present, what might you say is, like, I'm going to call it a difficulty for seniors in the community? Is it dealing with scams, or are there other things going on that people need to be more aware of?
There's a couple things. First of all, I'd like to let everybody know that we're here for you. Please call at any time with any questions, any concerns, no matter how small or frivolous you may think it is. That's why we're here. If we don't have an answer for you, we'll find an answer. We'll set you in the right direction. But you brought up a good point about scams, Beth. Those are probably one of my biggest concerns when it comes to seniors. My dad fell victim to a scam. Um, he didn't take too much of a financial loss, but there was one, and that's why I say, if something doesn't sound right to you, if it sounds too good to be true, hang up and please call us. Because when we get stories of those who have taken financial hits, it's heartbreaking. And we're not talking small amounts of money either.
Yeah. No, I agree. And we constantly tell people, don't give away your information.
No.
If you know the institution where they're calling from, call them yourself. You know,
Right.
we still, no matter what, we still hear those stories. And sometimes I feel like we're in the year 2021. When are people going to figure out that it's not a good thing to be giving away any of your information on the phone, you know?
Right. And I think we find also, Beth, that once, if someone has been taken in one of these scams, they're embarrassed.
Oh,
They're
yes.
embarrassed to report it. They're embarrassed to tell their family members. And all I can say is, you're not alone. You know, we'll do everything we can do to help you and stop these people, but we
No,
can't do it without their help.
I agree. And we here at the center tend to hear about it through other people.
Right.
Often it's not that person calling, but someone else will contact us on their behalf and say, you know, I think, you know, John Smith really needs some help, and maybe somebody can check in with him. And, you know, but sometimes there's, you know, only so much we can do. And then we refer them to you at
Sure.
the Plymouth Police Department, because, you know, there is only so much that we can do.
No, and these scammers, there's nothing to be embarrassed about. They are very, very, very skilled at what they do.
Yes.
They're well versed. They have answers for almost any question you'll come up with.
You're right.
They will provide you with a callback phone number. Even if you asked for a callback phone number and hung up and called us, we would send an officer up to their homes,
Right.
and we would make the call back for you.
Ah, I didn't know that.
Yes, we would make the call back for you to make sure it was legit.
Okay. Oh, that's good to know. Good to know. Yeah. So that part it's a constant here. We're constantly reminding people. I know we put out an email weekly, and at the bottom of that email that I put out every single week, there are all the scams that we know about or the current things that we're seeing. We try to keep people informed, as best we can so that they don't fall victim to, an unforeseen situation.
Right.
In your new role, do you feel that you have a passion about a particular part of your job?
In my new role?
Yeah. Okay, maybe in your old role.
I guess the passion, you'll hear this from all ranks in the departments, that it's the day-to-day. You never know what you're going to walk into. It's the just everyday change. It's not the same old things we run into every day. Almost everything's a challenge. You have to think, you have to act. So I guess that's what keeps me coming every day. It's just not just the challenge, the different challenges every day.
That's pretty cool that it's not mundane, and
No.
and I guess I never thought about it like that, but it's true. You don't know what you're walking into each day, and
Nope.
the calls you get or
Nope.
the questions that are asked, it's different from day to day.
Right. But the best part I like is when I come in the morning, the midnight shift is going home, so I get to say goodnight to all of them. The day shift's walking in, so I get to say good morning to them all. Then same when I leave in the afternoon, the evening shift is coming in. And so I guess my interactions with the folks here it's kind of my favorite part.
I think that's pretty great. I didn't realize, I guess, I hadn't thought about that you do get to see all of your shifts at some point, whether they're coming or going.
Right.
And that is very important to know that you're with the job you have, you're an integral part of their lives and their work life, but that you get to make that connection every day, and you see how people are doing, and
right.
And
you get to take a moment just to see how they're doing, have a little conversation, and
right.
And I'll let them know that I'm here for them of anything they may not need.
Awesome. So you told us a little in the beginning that you do love to fish.
Yes. So I'll tell you, I do love to fish. I think it's a great quality time to spend with my family. I have to admit, I do a lot of fishing, but not much catching. My favorite thing to try to catch is striped bass, but truth be told, they can feel safe when I'm around. So they don't need to worry at all.
Do you have a favorite fishing hole? I mean, we do live in a town where we've got a pond for every day of the year. So do you have a favorite fishing hole?
No. I like to try different spots. As I said, as a kid, West Pond was my hole.
Right.
A little right down next to the American Legion.
Right.
But I haven't fished there in ages. But as far as the ocean, stripers is it, and I don't have a favorite hole. That's why I do a lot of fishing and not much catching.
I learned to fish when I was a scout mom in Boy Scouts, and I found it to be the funniest thing ever. I learned how to do it all. I even wore a sock on my hand because I didn't really like touching the fish. And the kids,
I've never seen that.
It's great. I got to tell you, it works because you can really hold on to the fish. And the boys would catch fish and all the dads would scatter. And there I'd be Okay, come on over. I'll get your hook out. So it's very funny, but yeah, I like to fish, but I like the little stuff.
Yeah,
I
I
like
get you.
do you do more catch and release, or when you catch, do
When I can.
you,
A lot of it's
um,
catch and release.
yeah,
I'm pretty much the only one in my family that likes to eat fish. So,
okay.
yeah.
So you don't
So
keep
catch and
them.
release. Yeah.
Got it. Um, I know, I heard through the grapevine that, you do some work. You're part of the, yacht club downtown,
Oh,
the
yeah.
Plymouth Yacht Club.
Yes.
And, um, is that like your give back too? Like, do you like to help out there and do things, or what's
I
your,
do. Even though it is a private club, they do run a terrific sailing program that's open to the public. And I volunteer as much time as I can down there with the new sailors, fundraisers, raising money to buy new boats and equipment and such and whatnot. I also belong to a local philanthropic organization. I typically don't talk about it because it's kind of just my thing
that's
that I
okay.
like to do because it feels good. But
Yep.
very much involved in that as well, helping those in need. But this time of year, most Wednesday afternoons, you'll find me down the yacht club flipping burgers to raise money for the kids. Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's awesome. I
Yep.
think that's awesome. What's the age group for the kids to learn to sail? Do you know?
They start as early as 5, and they
Wow.
work right up. My daughter, she'll be 16 in September. She's still in the program.
Wow.
And I know several years ago, there's always been talk of trying to work some program together between the club and the high schools.
Right.
What a great opportunity would be for the town to have a sailing program here with
Oh,
everything
gotcha.
else we have. But someday, I hope that comes to fruition.
Maybe that'll be what you add to our community. You can help do that.
Sure.
Everybody's got their thing, so
Sure,
maybe that'll
absolutely.
be you.
Absolutely.
You think we could talk a few minutes about 4th of July, 3rd, 4th?
Sure, absolutely.
So 3rd of July, Whitehorse Beach. How were things down there this year?
It was a washout, unfortunately. Believe it or not, the past several years, we've kind of looked forward to the 3rd of July. It took a lot of work over the years from what it used to be, kind of mayhem.
Right.
But the past several years, we've seen the families return,
Right.
all generations, for babies all the way up to grandparents come down to watch the bonfires. It's turned into back into a terrific family event. But unfortunately, this year the weather did not cooperate. And this is support from the neighborhood down along Taylor Ave and the White Horse Beach area.
Right.
It's just fun to spend the night with them down there.
Good. So we ended up doing fireworks on the 5th of July downtown.
Yep.
How was that a good showing? Did things go well?
Everything went fine. I think we had a couple of arrests, minor issues, typical traffic. We've tried over the years to do different things, folks, but sorry, the traffic is the traffic. But it was a terrific show this year, and I don't think we're going to have, the town's going to have, I think they're going to have to beat it next year. I think we're going to have to do a lot of fundraising now because they set the bar pretty high this year.
That's always a good thing.
It was a real good show.
Good. Going forward, do you see yourself maybe starting any new things in town, or?
I have a few things I'd like to start. I think it's a little too early right now to mention any of them in my current role.
Okay.
But I think it'd be beneficial for everybody. As a matter of fact, I spoke to Michelle Brady the other day about a couple of ideas I had. So we'll see what happens.
All right.
We'll see what happens.
So we'll all have to keep our eyes and ears open to
Yeah.
what changes might be, but what additions might be
What additions,
coming.
not changes.
Yeah, not changes, additions to
additions.
what we already have. So next Friday, we're going to do our first, after our long hiatus of Coffee with a Cop.
Yes.
Will we get to see you this time?
Oh, absolutely. I'll be there. I'm sure Captains Manuel and LeBreton will be there.
Okay.
And we always, a couple of officers right off a shift typically join us. And if we can just get some of your guys to show up to coffee. All right. The ladies are terrific. Don't get me wrong, but we'd like to see some of the men. All right.
I think that was a great plug, Captain Flynn. Great plug.
So, yeah, we look forward to seeing it.
You're right. You know, men are quieter than women, and you know, don't have as much to say. But
well, we'll see what we can drag out of them.
I think so. I think it'll be a good thing. I think
Absolutely.
it'll be a good thing. Well, our time has come for me to say thank you. It has been a pleasure to have you join me today.
Well, thank you so much.
And, you know, maybe after 6 months or a year, we can bring you back and you can tell us how things have changed and where it's going. And, but we will definitely see you at Coffee with a Cop, at least the first one, on the first Friday in August. Coffee with a Cop is at 9 a.m. at the Center for Active Living, and it will be the first Friday of every month. So thank you, Captain Flynn. I hope you have a great day, and we'll see you again soon.
Thank you, Beth. Stay well.